Hey the friends. So we get a lot of questions and comments asking about how we deal with and dealt with late night eating. We know a lot of people have said that late night eating ruins their progress because they do really, really well until a specific time of night and then all heck breaks loose. So we thought we would do this video to share with you guys what worked for us, and all of these hacks really helped us curb that late night eating. Losing weight, it's not just a physical thing. It's here and it's here. Fight through it. You can do it. Don't give up. So the first one, have pre-prepped snacks in the fridge. We used to prep all our snacks once a week. We would put them all in containers. And when our late night eating was really bad, we even labeled and dated the containers saying, this date, nighttime snack, Kyle. Same, Nicole. That way we knew this was our portion for that specific time where we got cravings. And when it was done, when the container was empty, that was it.
And you know, the most important part of that is putting someone else's name on it in your family or your partner's name, because it's so much harder to take their snack.
Especially if it's portion and you know there's not a whole on in there, it's just one portion. So it was great to have mine and Kyle's beside each other. The other thing is we chose things that we enjoyed that were portioned. So popcorn, measured out 4 cups, which is a serving, and had our name on it in a container. That was delicious and tasty, but also a serving. So when it was done, we felt satisfied, and that was our portion for the day. So we still did late night eating, but it was a portioned thing that we enjoyed.
And food addiction or emotional eating is one of those things that, you know, you still got to eat. So to cure it or to bridge the gap or to get through those tough times late at night, you still have to use food, but it's just a different way to do it.
Yeah, that's why we chose something that we enjoyed, that was tasty, but we portioned it out. And eventually we didn't need that anymore. But to start, setting out meals specifically for the time where we ate late night really helped. The second thing is hydration. And this might sound silly, but we found when we were dehydrated, hadn't had enough water throughout the day, our bodies gave us cues that we were hungry or having cravings. But what it really was that when we did a check-in with ourselves, we actually hadn't drinking enough water.
And it always coincided. Whenever we would check with each other, did you drink all your water today? No.
No.
But I'm just really, really hungry. Well, you might be, or you might have cravings, or you might just want to eat, but always did you drink your water?
Exactly. Always check that. Your body, we learned, does actually give you hunger cues when it is dehydrated. Of course, when it's hungry, you get hunger cues too, but always do a check-in. We learned we always did a check-in to make sure that we drank enough water, and we drank a minimum of 2 liters of water a day to make sure that we were getting enough. And 2 liters means 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day.
And now generally we drink way more than that, but if you're just new to it, that's a start.
That was how we started, was with the 8 8-ounce glasses a day, and then we slowly built from there. The next one is we didn't skip meals. When we were heavy, before we started losing weight, we always skipped meals, and we found that always set us up for failure to binge later. So when we spread our meals out throughout the day, we found it kept our blood sugar level. We didn't get as many cravings or hunger cues because we were feeding our body regularly. So what we did was we ate a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we put 2 snacks in between. And we decided where we needed the snacks. One of them was late night, and the other one was wherever we felt we needed it throughout the day.
It was very counterintuitive for us to be eating regular, because when we were bigger, it was like 1 or 2 very large, very long meals that would just go on and on and on, versus portioned meals spread throughout the day.
I also want to mention that when in those two very large meals, the food chose us. We didn't choose the food. When we pre-portioned and chose meals that we enjoyed, we were in control of the food. Whereas when we were binging late night before, the food was controlling us. We might not have even liked the food that we were eating, but we had this need to eat it. So that's the difference. That's how portioning and labeling really helped us. Another thing we learned was we needed to eat a balanced diet, meaning some food from every food group. We figured out that when we took away food group of any kind, we failed. We would do okay for a little bit, and then it would backfire and we would start binging again. So when we ate a balanced, it seemed to help prevent that late night eating because we felt satisfied, like we were getting all the food we needed, which we were because we were eating balanced and we were including treats in that as well.
When it finally clicked, we realized that you can't fix food problems by taking away food.
It actually makes it worse.
Yeah.
It did for us. Another trick that we learned was to always have things like sugar-free gum. We used to get flavors that we really enjoyed, like the Swedish Fish kind or the Sour Patch Kids, stuff that
Lemon pie.
Yeah, apple pie, lemon pie. Stuff that tasted like dessert but was sugar-free gum and low in carbs, fat, that kind of thing. We also kept around Diet Pops. We loved Diet Dr. Pepper, so we would have some of that around. And also sugar-free Jell-O and fat-free Cool Whip. That kind of stuff, when it did come to late night eating, if that was around, sometimes we could turn to that stuff, chew a piece of gum, drink a Diet Pop, and that would help. And then we wouldn't find ourselves reaching out for the bag of chips or the tub of ice cream.
The big distinction here, though, is those were planned snacks.
Yes, and those were in the house for the purpose of, we know we have problems with late night eating, so these are here in case we have cravings to help us through.
What we found really helped us was, yes, they had to be portioned, and yes, they had to be healthier snacks, but we made it fun.
Yeah.
Don't focus on what you're missing out on. Like, well, I used to eat a whole bag of chips and I used to have 12 cans of pop and a chocolate bar. Me and Nicole made a date around sugar-free Jell-O and Cool Whip.
Yes, we did.
And a piece of gum for dessert after the dessert. And we made it something that we look forward to, something that wasn't all about the food. It was still around food and still celebrating the fact that we like food, but it wasn't a negative thing. It wasn't like we're missing out on something.
It was a planned positive experience where we would sit down together with Jell-O, which we had chosen at the grocery store, and the fat-free Cool Whip, and we portioned out the Cool Whip and we put our Jell-O actually in fancy glasses.
Yeah.
And we made it a whole experience. If you make a positive experience around your food and your snack, put on some nice music, light a candle, whatever it is that makes you feel relaxed and sets a positive tone for you, making positive experiences with food makes you less likely to binge late night eating.
We found that the denial cycle when people start new diets really just charges and gives more negative energy to food, which you already have a negative relationship with food. You don't need more negative energy associated with food. You need to start creating mini Jell-O dates with your best friend.
Or yourself, if you're your best friend.
Or yourself.
Or your
and
dog.
Start creating positive experiences around food. That is a huge, huge point that finally got us over the hump pretty much with our weight loss and our diet.
Yeah, they were our date nights, and we remember those still. We still talk about them. So they are really important, creating positive experiences with food. The next one is a big one that really helped us was, say you've tried the portion snack, but you can't stop. You keep going. This next one is your go-to to help kind of distract and redirect you. It is create a list of things to do that you enjoy that have nothing to do with food. Take the list, photocopy it, rewrite it out, print it out, do whatever you have to do, have several, and put them everywhere where you would eat. In your car, on your fridge, in your cupboard. That's what we did. I had one in my car, in Kyle's car, on the mirror in the bathroom, on the cupboard, in the kitchen, on my placemat, everywhere I would go.
In the fridge, on the fridge, on the cupboard doors, in the cupboard.
We had lists and notes everywhere. And some of the things I had on my list, I'll share. I love to read. And that usually helps distract me. Keeps my hands busy having to turn pages too. I know a lot of people who knit. I'm a terrible knitter, but I know a lot of people who knit. That helps keep their hands busy. Nail polish. I loved painting my nails, and it's a lot harder to eat when your nails are wet because you don't want to smudge them up. And another thing that I enjoyed doing was I'm a sucker for love stories. So putting on a love story movie, anything that will distract you, that has nothing to do with food, that you love. Going for a walk with your dog, whatever it is, make yourself a list. We put at least, I would say, 5 to 6 things on it because we didn't always feel like doing some of them on the list. So we always had backups just in case we were like, nah. So you always have something to turn back to or to, move down the list and choose something else. The last one is, I would say, the most important, which is why we kept it to last, because this one, even though it's gonna sound really silly, this one helped us the most. This is similar to the list, but these were notes. We left notes everywhere to make it so that we wouldn't ignore these questions and these note cards that we made. I got out the markers and I decorated them. Stickers, glitter, everything. I made them so that it was super hard to ignore it. And I put them literally everywhere. I even had one taped beside the light switch in our room so that I would see it everywhere. And the questions were, are you really hungry? If the answer was yes, it was, what do you want to eat? If yes, what do you want to eat? And I would give myself as close to what I wanted to eat as was possible at the time. If the answer was no, I'm not really hungry, then the next question was, why are you feeling the need to eat if you're not hungry? So a simple why. And that would then call me on figuring out why. Sometimes I was tired, sometimes I was depressed because I had a really rough day. Sometimes I was happy. There were all these things. Sometimes I was angry. And once I figured out what it was, then I could figure out how to deal with that. And that stopped me from eating because I would have to go through these questions. And by the time that I got to the end of the questions, I would realize, yeah, no, I'm not really hungry. And now I have an idea on how to handle it. So even though that's a really deep one, that was a very important one for us, and that worked. And I believe I still have one of the notes kept away to this day because they really helped. So that's it. Those are the tips, and believe us, if we could do it, you can do it. We suffered hugely with eating disorders and binge eating and late night eating that was ruining our progress. And when we did these tips, they really helped. It's not gonna help like that right away, but you have to keep trying. We kept trying, and finally it clicked. And look at us now. We're both 130 pounds lighter each, and we're building muscle.
And if you're a stubborn individual like me and Nicole, it will take you probably 100,000 times of doing these and actually you know, if you need any encouragement, because I was very resistant and reluctant to do any of these things. Once I started applying them though and actually doing them and not just, you know, fluffing them off saying they're silly, whatever, and I actually did them, they work.
They do. So just know that you're not alone if you're going to try some of these things. We've struggled. You can do it. If we can do it, you can do it. We're here for you. You can leave comments down below if you're struggling, if you've tried some of these things.
We read them all, guys, so leave it below.
We may not be able to respond, but we read them all. And just know that we are with you every step of your journey and every step of your struggle. And know that struggling is normal. And we got through it, and you will too. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. For what?
I don't know. Oh my god.
Weird muscle walk of teeth.
Muscle walk?
Yeah, because these.
Oh, okay. The tone of the video changed drastically in the last 5 seconds. You nailed that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.